lights and go to the safe light, which I'm not going to do, by the way, because I'm going to break this down. Hi photo students, welcome to the Darkroom here at Clark University. It's in the lower level of the Training Center for Arts. It is an analog darkroom, and today I'm going to talk about this Enlarger. I'm going to break it down step by step for you. So don't lose this video, because you're going to look back to this to understand all the different components that make this thing come together so that you can effectively make a stunning, beautiful analog print, black and white print. So why don't we go ahead and talk about the different components of this. One of the first things to do when I'm checking the Enlarger for the day is I make sure that the condenser head, this unit right up in here, is cranked up as far as it will go. There's a knob here on the left-hand side. I'm going to do exactly that. Bring it up right there. It's maxed out. By doing this, you're ensuring that the light source comes through evenly across your negative and eventually down to your print. If you don't, you're going to get vignetting. The center of your print will be lighter and the edges will be darker. The reason why this even exists, this knob and this adjustment that you see here, is for larger format negatives. There will be people on these Enlargers at times working with a medium format camera, and they'll just forget to crank it back up. So please check that out. Make sure everything is working for you before you continue going through the checklist. Also, while you're setting up your Enlarger to work, you want to check the filter drawer. So we're going to open up this flap, make sure the light is off. We're checking to see if it has a filter in here, and we want a number 2. So each station is equipped with an Ilford multigrade box of filters. I'm going to grab the number 2. I'm going to insert it, and I'm going to close the flap. To access your negative carrier, we need to pull this lever back to get to the carrier stage. Pull out the negative carrier. This is for 35mm. We have a top here and we have a bottom. You can see the flange. That's when you reinsert it to make sure that the flange is face down in the Enlarger. Alright, let's go in the other room in nice bright light and put a negative in it. I'm going to put my negative carrier down. I'm going to open it up. Here's your 4 registration pins. And grab the negative that I want to print from. I'm going to insert it. Oh, by the way, I'm putting emulsion side down. I don't know if you can see that, the dullness of that. And then this side is just the acetate. So we want the emulsion side down. By the way, this particular image here, the top is up here, bottom here. I'm going to turn it so that the top is pointing this way. That way it's going to reverse. The negative will be completely reversed of how you put it in the Enlarger. So I want the bottom to eventually be the top. So there we go. Underneath the clip, there we go. We're underneath the clips. It's registered. Hold this down. Close it. Good. Inspect to make sure it's centered. Excellent. And then just with this air here, we just got to blow off any dust that's off the surface, both front and back. Now I'm ready to go back in the darkroom and put it in the Enlarger. Each Enlarger is equipped with a lens. We're going to be using a 50mm. It's a night core. This is for your 35mm negative that will be in the carrier above it. If you're using a larger negative, a medium format like a 120, you'll be using an 80mm lens. But let's just talk about this 50mm lens. It has an aperture, just like the aperture on your camera. And it goes from 2.8, that would be wide open, all the way down to f16. When we go ahead and make a contact print, we're going to, or focus, we're going to put it at 2.8 to get the maximum amount of light coming through. When we go to make a print, we'll probably be around f8, f11. Same when you make a contact print. Alright, let's do this. Let's turn on the light to just take a quick look at it. And so here we are looking up into the barrel of the lens. We're just checking for fingerprints, for any kind of dirt. You can see here the aperture moving back and forth, like so. If you find it dirty, excessively dirty, get a hold of a proctor or get a hold of me. We will come in and we will remove it, and we will start to clean it just for a second with the PEC pads that we have here, and then we'll reinsert it again. One more detail to pay attention to. Underneath the enlarging lens and where the focusing knob is, you're going to see this knob in the center. Make sure those two little lines are lined up. If they're not, you're going to find that when you go to focus your image on your easel, that you can't get the image in focus from left to right hand side. You'll have one side in focus or the other, but nothing altogether. And that's because this is out of registration. And I'll loosen this just to show you. There you go. That's because somebody used the Enlarger before you for advanced printing for something very specific, and they were neglecting to put this back in the center. So there we go, right like so, and lock it in. And now you should be good for the day. Let's talk about the timer and how we get light to the Enlarger. We're going to be using the Graylab 450 timer. This is the light source to the Enlarger. We're going to control the amount of time of light that we get. So we're going to do this by first turning it on. There we go. And we can see the 21 is popped up here in this window. We also notice we have two dials over here on the left and over here on the right. And again, they're changing accordingly, the numbers that you see overhead. We want this to be set for 1 second for a control factor, both for the contact print and for the enlargement. So messing around with this back and forth, we need to get it to say 1 second. It's doing it there, and if I hit the decibel, I can get it by doing that. You see again, it's saying 1 second. It doesn't matter. Just get it to say 1 second. That's what's important right now. All right. Next thing is to just let's talk about all these other little buttons that you see here. This off will turn off the light to the timer, but it's not turning the timer off. This has to do with the color darkroom years past. They couldn't have any kind of light in the environment, so they had to shut off all of the lights that you see on this device. We're not concerned about that. We're working with orthochromatic paper. It is blind to this particular color. Okay, so what else do we have? We have down here outlet time, and we have outlet focus. When I hit outlet focus, the light to the Enlarger comes on. If I hit outlet time, it engages this bar that you see here. So let me hit the bar. The light came on with the Enlarger, and we get that horrible sound. If you want to get rid of that, you can hit off here, and you get that. If you want to get this thing to click down, count down, and we'll go 4 seconds, we can hit Metro. You need something to hold your paper down flat and centered. We're using these 4-blade easels for this. This one here, you can take paper up to 14 inches or 11 by 14 large. I'm going to lift up the top, and we can see here's your 14 inches paper, here's your 10 inch, which is your 8 by 10, and here's your 7 inches. So we want to set the blades for 6 inches by 9 inches. So I'm going to take this blade here and I'm going to set it on 6, like so. And I got a little arrow right there, 6, like so, and 9 inches, which is set, and 9 inches there. But I'll move it back and forth so you can see that I can bring it back to 9. Excellent. So now, there it is. So I'm going to take a piece of paper, and I actually even drew on it with a Sharpie the edges to show you how centered this is. So I'm going to put that in there like so, and I'm going to close this, and you can see there it is, all lined up perfect. Some of you students might actually want to have a sheet of paper with this drawn out so that you can be kind of lazy about the whole thing and just come in here, and you don't have to even look at the numbers. You can just put the piece of paper in, and you can match the blades to the lines. That works as well. All right, you're ready now to go ahead and make your enlargement. Last item that you'll need will be the contact printer. We keep it below on the shelf next to the easel. Grab it, put it on top of the base below the Enlarger, give it a clean with some paper towels. You're good to go. I'll give you more instructions about it when we actually use it for contact printing. Before I shut off the white lights and go to safe light mode, I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about the process of making prints here in the darkroom. The procedure for developing your prints is pretty straightforward, really simple. We're going to be working from left to right. So the first one will be the developer. So by submerging your print in the developer for 1.5 minutes with constant agitation, and then we're going to go to the next step, which is stop bath. It's a very weak solution of glacial acetic acid, 15 to 30 seconds. The next chemical is rapid fixer, again with constant agitation. And then from there we jump over to just a holding tray. It's just water. Just give your print a quick once over, and then dump it into this tray here, which is the running water bath, and can accumulate as many prints as you want throughout your session, and then take them collectively into the other room to continue the process.